welcome back, fellow gamers. So, Magic the Gathering's Commander product for this year is right around the corner, and all the Commanders have been spoiled. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to highlight what kind of deck I was going to build, and one of the cards I think will be integral to that deck. Sometimes I'll mention a few other cards you'll see, but there's going to be one card that I'm going to highlight, and they're usually not going to be really popular cards. So, I'm pretty excited to share that with you. It's kind of a version of, like, hidden gems, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But first, we're going to start with Brea. So this is Brea, in case you haven't met. She's probably the artifact general that I've been looking for my whole life. And I'm actually really excited to cast this and have an artifact deck. I'm going to build this deck, I think, is a card that not that many people know. And that is Mirror Incubator. So, yeah, it's mirrors in a cube. I am really excited for this card, just to be able to play it, and then if you have a lot of mana flowing around, and maybe you do, you're running artifacts, it's an artifact deck, you've got a lot of mana rocks. If you don't have those mana rocks, you take them out of your library, and you just put out a bunch of 1/1s. And then with that, you can do commander damage through one of your abilities, you can make yourself gain a whole lot of life if you already have a great board state, or you could do the -4/-4 ability, and essentially wipe out that person's board and then storm in with all your creatures. Really, she's quite versatile. As I mentioned, if you're not ending the game, you're at least thinning out your deck. I think it's a good card that's going to catch people by surprise. As soon as you play it, they're going to figure it out really quick. So cast it, activate it, and then get going. Oh, Yidris. Say yes to Yidris. The Maelstrom Wielder. I am so happy that this card got printed. You know, it's 4 colors, great. You unlock pretty strong colors with that. I mean, white's no pushover, but you're casting big stuff with these 4 colors, and you're getting rewarded. One of the things that's going to be integral to this deck is knowing the order of your deck, and I think that's where Ancestral Knowledge comes in. Now, yeah, it's got a cumulative upkeep, but hear me out. Don't get too worried. You're going to be casting cards for free every time you cast them. So this is not going to be staying out there for long. Once you have your 10, get rid of it, shuffle your library, whatever. It's really about setting up your deck in a way that you're able to maximize what you're casting, so you're not going to get caught casting something that's too low of a mana cost and having to put a bomb at the bottom of your library. This is really good. I would ignore the fact that it has cumulative upkeep. Yes, do pay. Don't ignore that part. But ignore the fact that that's a downside, because this card isn't meant to really have out there for a long period of time. You want to know what your top X number of cards are so you can plan yourself and your turn out properly. Now, this is a card that could take a lot of time to really master. And if it's one of your first times using it, you're probably going to take a long time trying to evaluate your game plan. But that process will pay off. Next is Saskia. Now, this is one strong woman. The card that jumps out to mind here is Phyrexian Obliterator. Now, hold on, that's not my, like, quote-unquote hidden gem. I think everybody knows about Phyrexian Obliterator. He's a beast, 5/5, swinging in there, making it so that your opponents have to block him and get rid of him. Without that, then yeah, you're just going to run through them. 10 damage each turn from just attacking with that. It's going to take its toll. Great thing is that when somebody blocks it, they're going to be losing those creatures or permanents that are on their board. So they're in for bad news, Brown. As long as you have Phyrexian Obliterator out there. But to make it better, my hidden card that I'm going to be using is Hell's Caretaker. Now, a lot of people actually don't know about this card, and this is an awesome card. I love this card. And also, sidebar, get it in foil if you're a foil nut. This card is a beautiful foil. Beautiful. Now, I do plan on having a lot of graveyard recursion from other cards, but this card here is going to help get out those, those weenies that are attacking, but that have a huge upside when they deal damage. Or maybe somebody is taking care of your Phyrexian Obliterator, but not so fast. Phyrexian Obliterator has still got work to do, and he's doing it right now. Now, I'll admit, Kianos and Tiro of Milites is a card for me that's a bit hard to evaluate. I like the concept. I like the creative flow, like juices that are behind it. I like the color combination. I don't like the advantage that it gives people. I don't like playing group hug decks, but I do like Zedru, right? But I played it in such a way that people aren't happy when I play Zedru, and I'm kind of trying to look at it from that perspective with this general. I do think there's a possibility. It's the egg I'm gonna have to crack, and it's the toughest egg I find out of the bunch for these guys, these new generals. The card that I'm gonna be slotting in here is Back to Basics. So I don't want people putting in free guys, Cradles or Maze of Ith or Cabal Coffers, and then reaping the rewards because of my general. Having Back to Basics will curtail that. Yeah, they might get a free activation, but they're not going to be able to stick around for long when all their lands are tapped out. And that's pretty much my goal, is to make sure that they're going to be kind of taken advantage by putting things on the battlefield, but I don't want them using it. And finally, Atraxa. Oh my god, I love this card. I love seeing stuff from New Phyrexia. I just do. And this card to me screams Super Friends deck. It just does, right? Yeah, you lose out on red, but the only real red planeswalkers that you'd be losing out on would be like Nicol Bolas, Sarkhan, and a few others. Like there's a few other good ones, but like the mono red walkers are pretty trash. So that's not really a worry. But that's not where I'm going to be taking my deck just yet. While everybody's looking at Super Friends, I know I'm not original by saying a Super Friends deck, but I'm looking at making that EDH Infect deck. I think this is the general to make it happen. And thematically enough, she is on New Phyrexia. Perfect flavor match. And I really think that, and you can capitalize on some of the best Infect cards in these colors. The card that I'm really looking forward to putting in this deck is one that's kind of janky. It's Decimator Web. And honestly, it's putting the poison counter on it. Putting the poison counter, like there's a bunch of other benefits to it, but I want to infect people to death. And if you don't have an infect creature out on the battlefield, this at least helps putting that in there, and then you can start proliferating. But not only that, putting the 6 cards from the top of their library into their graveyard is huge. Unless they're running, of course, a graveyard-based deck, then you might not want to do this. Play it to your meta. I really think that this is a card that does a lot for 4 mana. Yeah, it's an 8 mana investment to get 1 activation, but it's another trigger for your Infect deck. Now, I am going to be loading up my Infect deck with Infect creatures. Duh, right? But I think this is going to be a really good way of going about it, getting it out, and then rolling as much Infect as possible. Skithiryx, obviously, is another one. The Blight Dragon. He used to be the go-to general for Infect, but now he can take a backseat and act as one of the 99. So that's another card. It's not a really hidden gem because everybody loves an Infect Dragon. He's just hard to play with. But now that you have access to multiple colors, I think this is where it's going to go. I think Infect with this general is going to be a strong one. I've just listed one of the cards. Maybe I'm wrong with that one. That's the one I think I'm least sure on. I think I just want to stuff it in there to stuff it in there. But I'm still interested to see how it goes. What do you think? Are you in line with any of my picks? Or what other cards would you like to see in these decks? Name one card in any of these 5 decks that you would like to see. I would love to hear it. And I'd love some more ideas on what to put in these decks because I am itching to just get involved in this. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. If you'd like to see more, click on one of the 2 videos that are there, or click on show more in the description below to see when and what we upload, as well as when we stream. And if you need an update on what exactly we're going to be streaming that week, don't be shy to hit us up in the comments or reach out to us on Twitter. We'll be more than happy to chat. Until next time, good gaming.